Nebraska, 40 degrees, windy, miserable, didn't matter. 66,000 and change show up to Memorial Stadium. Big crowd anyway. They always do it right at Nebraska. I want to do an exercise with you for just a second. I want to stop, and I want you to just say this sentence out loud. Nebraska got Matt Rule, and then imagine saying it this time last year. Just exhibit 1,000,001 about how many things change in this sport and how wild the changes are. We may have two of the wilder year-ago headlines, if you could fast forward, in all of college football in the Big Ten. Matt Rule's at Nebraska, and then Luke Fickell's at Wisconsin. Whomst amongst us? Whomst have seen it coming? And yet here it is. Jeff Sims at quarterback. Out of all these quarterback battles, I have this weird, morbid fascination. It's not morbid. I have this weird fascination with Jeff Sims and Casey Thompson. They got a couple other guys in the mix up there too. But I remember when Jeff Sims transferred from Georgia Tech to Nebraska, there were just some people who said, hey, knock on the door. Hey, watch that one. I know Sims didn't light the world on fire at Georgia Tech, but we think it's a really good fit. That's the kind of guy that Matt Rule takes and just puts his form of polish on him, and all of a sudden Jeff Sims is in these conversations you never thought he'd be in. And yesterday he was 9 of 13, 139 yards. It wasn't a light the world on fire performance, but it's easy to see. There were a couple of eyebrow-raising plays and eyebrow-raising throws that made you say, oh, wait, can he do that consistently? Now, he didn't in the spring game, but could he do that consistently? Because if he could, Nebraska could go to a bowl game next year. Matt Rule afterwards said something he said a few times about Sims. He said, he is a passer who happens to run a 4.4. That's how they view him. It's not a run-first guy. He just happens to have elite speed, but he's not a run-first guy. I'm very interested. I think the receiver core is probably underrated. I am very interested to see what they end up doing with him. I think he's going to end up being the starter. There's a very, very fun conversation amongst Husker fans going on right now about whether it'll be him versus Casey Thompson. I'm always looking at these young guys in spring games, though. Princewall Umanmillan. I said it as fast as I could. He is a 6'4", 225-pound edge guy. Now, when I say 225 pounds, that's what he came out of high school as. They plan on playing him at 250 this fall. He's an edge rusher. 4 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, a sack, a pass breakup yesterday, all over the field. They think they hit a home run with him. And he is testing the limits of how much weight one can gain between early enrolling and his true freshman year. Because 225 to 250 is a chore, but it's doable. And I think he may very well get there. I think he's already playing at like 240 pounds, so we didn't have that much further to go. They fumbled the ball 8 times yesterday. I said it was cold. It was kind of miserable. Eric Gilbert, I had forgotten, had transferred to Nebraska. And I'm watching, and I think he had a couple of drop balls yesterday. I think he's running as their 3rd tight end. This is a former 5-star guy, LSU, Georgia, now Nebraska. There may have been another stop along the way. I just a very, very strange career there. But it's nice to at least look at Nebraska and know that they've gotten the car turned around. Like one of the classic scenes in Dumb and Dumber is, I'm going to take a nap. Here, you take the wheel, you drive. And they're out in Denver, I think. And so they just take a right instead of a left. And they drive for 8 hours. And so there's a big difference. You can go a long way in 8 hours. You wake up in California versus waking up in like the middle of the Great Plains. And there it is. You drove a 1/6 of the way across the country in the wrong direction. That is what the Scott Frost era felt like. We thought we were going the right way. And we find out that John Denver's full, you know what he's full of. And here we are. They're not mountains anywhere. I expected the Rocky Mountains to be a little rockier than this. Well, we went the wrong way. But at least we got the car turned around now. Or in that case, you traded in for a motorized scooter. But at least you're going the right way now. It's going to be a long and winding road. Going to be some downs before there's some ups. I would argue this team's probably equipped to do a little bit more in year one than Matt Rule's teams were at Temple or Baylor. So we may not have to settle for a 2 or 3 win season this year, but at least things are going the right way. Can we at least agree on that? I think we can.